Hi, and welcome to Fork UMS and Motivated and Strong. I try to make videos on a regular basis to help people impacted by MS. I don't really plan these videos. Basically, I wake up, something that's on my mind or something that I recently read, I try and share. I'm not an expert on MS and I'm not medically educated. I sell advertising for a living and I've only been diagnosed with MS for about 2 years. But I did have something scary happen last week. On 4/10, I went for an MRI. Now everyone knows these MRIs are not pleasant, but I medicate and I get through them. So once you get through them, the next hurdle is reading your MRI results. Now what happens where I live in Florida, I always set up an appointment about a week after my MRI to meet with my local neurologist. But where I get my MRI done, within about 2 or 3 days, I always get the written notes. So when I received the written notes, I read them and they said I had 2 new lesions. Quite frankly, that was very concerning. I was afraid that I would have to change my MS medication. I'm currently on Ocrevus. I'm on that because I felt okay with the risk profile and believe it to be a highly efficacious treatment. I've had my infusions. I've had no problems with them. Generally, I feel pretty good. Certainly, I have my challenges. As you can tell by the gray hair, I'm 59 years old. I would have challenges no matter what. So I was a bit concerned to learn I had new lesions and certainly was apprehensive about having to change medicines. I decided to chill, wait until I spoke with my neurologist. Fast forward, on 4/20 or 10 days later, I did have an appointment with my local neurologist. As soon as he walked in, he said, "How are you doing?" I said, "I don't know. How am I doing?" He looked at me a little bit puzzled and I said I had read the notes and it said I had new lesions. He looked at me and said, "Look, you can read those, but I would prefer you always wait for me because sometimes they scare people. And quite frankly, in your case, I think the radiologist read the MRI wrong. I went back, I spent time looking at your old MRI and the new MRIs, and I can tell you, you had these lesions well before this MRI." I do have a second neurologist that I like a lot. I travel to see him. Both neurologists are aware that I am seeing both of them. When I had a meeting with my second neurologist, I let him know that I was concerned because the radiologist had said I had new activity. He went through the films with me almost frame by frame. We spent a lot of time. He told me to rest assured they were not new lesions. I had these lesions before. He looked at my blood work and everything else and said that my medication is working and if I was feeling fine, that I am fine. After hearing from both of my neurologists that the radiologist obviously read the MRI wrong, I was a bit shocked. I would think these films are read and read correctly. So I actually went to Twitter and I posted, "Have you ever had an MRI read wrong?" And I was surprised to see a lot of people have. So there is a conclusion here. When you get results, don't jump to conclusions. Always trust your neurologist. And if you hear something you don't like, always get a second opinion. The point of this video is this: neurologists and radiologists sometimes make mistakes. Don't panic. Take time. Get a second opinion. I'm glad I had 2 neurologists look at my MRI. I'm glad I didn't waste time panicking after I read the initial MRI. I'm not a doctor. I have no medical training. It would have been a disservice to myself and to my family if I was unhappy or acting grouchy because of the results. I'm so happy I waited and so happy I got the all clear from both of my neurologists. Look, I've been told by both neurologists that I am my #1 MS expert. Only I know what's going on in my body. You are likely the same. All the best to you. I'll be back next week with another video.